Hi guys, it's me Claudia. So I am back today with another story and I'm sorry about my voice. This is something that I've been wanting to share for a while now. It's just been very difficult to know when I was going to make this video and what I was going to be sharing. Because there is a lot that happened and I just wanted to share this, but I'm not going to reveal everything that happened. However, I am going to respect my ex and not bring up everything about him and his privacy. I'm not going to mention his name because that's just wrong. But I am going to talk about my life with this person, what I went through, and the ending with the breakup. So we had met on March 31st at a Skills USA convention for state. He had gone to my technical school, but he was a junior and I was a senior at the time, both in two different programs. He was in construction and I was in graphic design. We were competing in two different contests. I think his was job demonstration, and then mine was career pathways. The first time I ever saw him is we were getting ready to load on the buses for Jefferson City, and he was late, and I'm just thinking, who the heck is that late kid? So I officially got to talk to him when we got back to the hotel because, funny enough, his room was right next to our room, so there's a door that could go next door, which was just crazy. Thank you, the teachers never found out. So instead of sleeping in the room with the girls, I ended up sleeping in the room with the guys, but there's nothing inappropriate that went on. I was on the floor, I was about 5 feet away from him, and him and I pretty much pulled an all-nighter, and we just talked about our lives and about each other and got to know each other. When I started to talk to him, I felt like I could open up. This person had very many similarities to me. Both their parents were divorced, and I felt like I could relate. The second day of the Skills USA convention, I just hung out with him, got to know him. I had something else I had to do, so I was on and off doing stuff, talking to other people. On my way back to the technical school, I sat by him on the bus, but we didn't really talk as much. I kind of just played on my iPad. He kind of just did his own thing, so yeah. So the crazy thing about this guy back at the hotel, okay, there was a vapor going around the room. I'd never been around it. I was trying to figure out whose vapor is that, and it was his. And actually smelled good. I wasn't against it. It was just weird because I'd never been around it. There were points that got a little bit awkward, but like when I was dating him, I'd sit next to him and he would be vaping. It was a little bit awkward for me because I didn't do it and he did. I didn't care. It was just awkward because you know you don't do it and you're just like, okay. But no, I got to know him more. We were friends for about 2 weeks. He had went to one of my track meets that I didn't run in. He missed one of my meets, but overall, he was like almost like a best friend to me. Finally, on April the 11th, he asked me out, and we went on April the 14th or the 15th on a date to go see The Jungle Book, the movie, which, okay, it's a kids movie. I didn't care what we went to go see. Honestly, as long as it wasn't a horror movie, I was good. After the movie, we went on a dinner. We went to dinner. I'm going to be honest, dinner dates are not my thing, but we went, and then after that, we went to his house. And let me tell you about this. Also, this guy had smoked weed. Back then, I hated being around this type of stuff, but today, I really don't care, to be honest, what people do anymore. I mean, if you smoke, you smoke. I'm not going to judge you. So we went down to his room, and let me just tell you, the first thing I walked down there, I was like, what the frick is that smell? And it was weed smell, but I didn't realize that because I'd never been around it and it smelled so bad. So it was like nothing for him, but it was something for me. So as we're down there, I'm just like, what the frick is that smell? And I'm like, wait, smells like a skunk. And I'm just like, is that weed? He said that it was, and it wasn't that bad. Well, to me, it was, and it made me about ready to pass out. So I got out of there as fast as I could. For the rest of the night, we hung out, and he took me home afterwards. April 17th is when we made it official that we were boyfriend and girlfriend. Overall, the relationship was going smooth. There were some ups and downs, like a lot of miscommunication. One thing that bothered me in the relationship was like when people text me, normally I respond right away. It took him like 5 minutes to respond, and it always made me mad. It's like, it doesn't take 20 minutes to respond to one text. If you can't talk, just send back, say, hey, I'll talk later. But it took him like 20 minutes. It's something there be one point where it took him an hour just to respond. What also is new to me is like hanging out on school nights. Normally, I don't hang out on school nights. I normally only hang out on the weekends. So that he got me the chance to hang out after school. Normally, like I said, I didn't like doing that. I had track practice, which also during the time I did not always like going to practice. I almost ended up quitting the team because I had tendonitis for 2 weeks and I was off and couldn't run, which sucked, but he kind of told me, like, don't quit, because if it's something you truly love to do, then, like, no. So I decided, okay, I'll just stay. So I stayed, even though the coaches were not very good this year. They were strict. Oh my gosh. But he did go to he went to about 2 of my meets. So I got into one meet where I volunteered to run for the 2 mile. So he went to that meet, but I told him he asked if I could bring some friends. I said that's fine, but I always warn people, I don't care if you're my boyfriend, I don't care if you're my family, I don't care if you're my friend. And if this goes for my friends around the team too. Here's the deal you do. Do not give me crap before or after, because I am focused on the event and the event only. I don't mind talking to you, but do not bring up your problems. Do not bring up anything that's going to make me mad, because if you do, whoo-wee, it is not good. And then my my girlfriend had went there to go meet him, and while I was going to go run, at the time, like, I get it, track meets are boring, you know, you don't want to sit there. He kind of came a little early. I wanted him there early, but I know he didn't want to get bored, so him and his friend left. But oh, the bad thing was, is like, she wanted him to come back a little bit earlier, and my friend's trying to make a point. You know, you need to be here for your girlfriend's team. You need to support her team. I mean, he didn't want him back. I understand that, but at the same time, I did kind of want him there, and he could also get to know my friend. Yeah, well, here's the deal, dude. My friend was having problems with him, and she was trying to talk to him, and some issues were going on. But here's the deal, dude. What really made me mad is the fact that they weren't apparently getting along. It's like, I wasn't gonna take sides, but my friend was complaining about him, and then my boyfriend was complaining about my friend. It's just like, oh, and I just did not have a good night. After I was done running the 2 mile, I was about dead, and his friend had to go home right away, but I needed to do my cool down, and I couldn't do it, so instead, we kind of had to rush out of there, and I'm dying. And so it's like, dude, I need to do my cool down. He's like, well, my friend needs to get home. It's like, fine. So I had to hurry as fast as I could, get my spikes off, get my shoes on, get my stuff, and we had to leave because his friend had to get home. And as we're driving, they're blasting music, and I'm literally dying in the back seat. Like, so tired, honestly, having a pounding headache. The music was it was pretty loud, so it probably needed to be turned down a notch. But it just gave me a pounding headache, and as soon as the car ride, I didn't really talk to either one of them. I just stayed quiet. As soon as we got back to my house, he's just like, have a good day, and I was just like, bye. I was not very happy because of the fact that there was something with my friend, and then him, and just an argument, and just not stuff going on between. And then the fact that his friend had to get home right away, and I couldn't do my cool down. It's like, dude, and as soon as I got home, it's not, like I said, as soon as I got home, I was not happy. I went to go run at night and do my cool down, so that way I could just get it out of me. I don't think I mentioned this, but I mean, after a while, like, I got over it. We still continued to hang out. Like, I don't know if I mentioned this in the video, but the nice thing was that he lived close. So, like, I tried to explain to my parents. I also had a curfew at the time, which was stupid, but I tried to explain to my parents, I'm like, he doesn't live that far. Like, well, you still need, what, ugh. So we hung out a few times. The one time that ended up happening, this I was not so happy about. So, there's some back roads in our area, so he took me down these back roads, and he knows, like, I was completely 100% against weed back then, but, like, I didn't want him to smoke it around me, so we were in the car one day, and he pulls out a blunt, and I'm just like, what is that? And he just starts to smoke it in front of me, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And I'm just covering my nose because I didn't want to inhale it or anything like that. He's like, it's not that bad, it's not that bad, it's not gonna get into you. It's like, I don't care, I told you, man, do not smoke it around me. Please respect that. But no, my opinion, he was kind of being an ass or just trying to show off. He told me later on that he was just trying to expose me to it, but I mean, I guess it's kind of good and bad. Now I knew what it smelled like, and I think the bad part about it was I didn't want to go home smelling like weed and my parents finding out, because my parents did not need to know that I dated someone who smoked weed. No. Here is the deal you do. I will never smoke weed in my life. No. I don't care if people do it, but I will never smoke weed. Never. No. When May started to fall, we had a lot of issues in the relationship, lack of communication. He had plans before, and he didn't always tell me, like, he promised we were gonna hang out, And then he's like, I'm on my way. And so then he went to go hang out with his friends and letting me know. It's like, dude, I don't care if you hang out with friends. You need to let me know before and not after. Because there was plenty of times that I got upset, probably cried at least 5 times. And it was like, oh, you shouldn't let a man hurt you. Well, when you're a very emotional person, it's not good. So we ran into a few problems. There was also one night that, ooh, this was not good. And I was like freaking out. So what ended up happening the night, we were supposed to hang out and have a bonfire, but instead, in telling me, he ends up helping out a friend, and him and his friend was a drug dealer. Um, they were going out to do what they needed to do, and they got caught for it. Him and his friend were booked overnight, and I didn't find out till the next day. But when I found out, I was completely shocked, and I was flipping out because if he would have been in jail, and I'd find out, I was like, what? Why is he not responding? And he wasn't responding. I was just so confused, and I was just like, really? At the time of the whole weed situation, I was trying to get him off it because I didn't want him getting caught again. Because if he get caught again, like, what am I supposed to tell my parents? Break up, not together anymore. Guy gets busted for weed. No. So honestly, I just let him go on it. But I said, look, you need to be more careful because if you get busted for it, like, there's nothing I can do. So yeah, after that we worked it out. This guy was also my first kiss, which that sounds really sad, but it's the truth. But that was great. What else was I say? So when May came around, it just came to a fall. My mom was also moving away, and this was probably the last time I really hung out with this guy. Um, we went to his house to hang out, and honestly, what ended up happening was we watched the movie. I kind of got bored with it, so I just started to think about my mom and stuff like that, and I just started breaking down into tears and crying. And trying to figure out what's wrong, and I'm just like trying to say I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. But in reality, you know that person, if they're like covering their face up and looking like that, they're not fine. They're just trying to like push you away, which I had tried to push him away a couple times, which was wrong. And he helped me out, but honestly, I remember, but it was the last night I ever truly hung out with him, and it was not the best night for me. And I was late coming home, and after that and then I don't remember the last time I saw him was. The last time I remember seeing was sometime in May. I had to drop something off and give it to him for my graduation, which he never went to my graduation or anything like that. So I was gone for 2 weeks in May, and yeah, it just was coming to a downfall. I was gone so much, it just caused a lot of problems. So we were supposed to hang out on May 26th, but instead what ended up happening was he didn't tell me that his friend's graduation party was that day until afterwards, which was like, because I was trying to make plans with my cousin, I was trying to make plans with him, and it was just a disaster, and it didn't work out. And after, I was just really mad and stuff like that. And I was just like, dude, like, seriously, like, we were supposed to hang out, and you ditched me to go to your friend's graduation party. Like, look, if you would have told me, like, look, I would have been willing to go. Like, I would have cared. Okay, I've been to so many I've been to a few this summer, but, I mean, okay, yeah, they get boring, but you know what? I wouldn't have cared, honestly. But the thing that made me mad is he didn't tell me until afterwards. And May 27th was the last time I ever spoke to him. He sent me a text to ask if I was okay, and I tried texting him back. He would not text me back. I was also going to the lake that day. I also tried Snapchatting him and everything like that. Didn't answer anything like that. I was just like, what the frick? And we ended up breaking up on May 30th or 31st. I broke up with him, but the strange thing is when I broke up with him, there was no reaction whatsoever. He didn't even seem to care. So after when I broke up with him, he removed me off all social media. I have tried to make an effort since to talk to him, but honestly, he's just hates. I don't know. I feel like he hates me, but I will admit we both made a mistake in the relationship. Part of it was lack of communication, and also I was gone a lot, and at the time I went when my parents went, so that was on me. I was also dealing in a bad state of depression with my mom moving away. And honestly, with my mom moving away, it was hard for me because I was going to be staying. And then also when I broke up with him, it made my life a whole lot worse, honestly. But he was a really cool guy. But there is something I really did learn out of this. This is really sad, but he did teach me a lot about drugs. Okay, I'm gonna know that's kind of sad, but um, like at the time, I thought he said to me, like one day when we were going out and he had smoked the blunt, he said he doesn't mess with other drugs. The only drug he like messes with is weed. But he said other people who do those drugs are bad people. But I've started to realize this. I didn't understand. Like with people who do drugs, I feel like they just do to get high. But I understand now with people who do drugs. Honestly, there are so many reasons why people do drugs. Like I have learned to like honestly not like complain or like accept it. Like honestly, like okay, you do drugs, but I realize like why people do it now. People don't always just do it just to get high. They might do it for stress. And the guy I dated did not have a very easy life, but I can't get into it honestly. A lot of family issues. That's all I'm gonna say. And just stressed out a lot, and that was a way he relieved his stress, and which I understand now to this day. Like you're that stressed out, and that's what you have to use. I completely understand to this day. Um, But yeah, like I'm not if I ever meet someone who does do it, I'm gonna probably ask why and not just like abandon them. If you meet someone who does them, don't just like rat them out and say, okay, you're a bad person. No. Understand why they do them because then that will help you have a better understanding. Honestly, if they're doing it just to get high, then no. If they do it for a reason, like talk to them about it, be there, be supportive, but like understand why. Like don't just say, oh, do something else, do something else. If that's how they cope, that's how they cope. Accept it for them. But honestly, sorry, there's something to add. Just be there and be supportive for them because that will help them. But honestly, like being rude to them about it and saying, oh, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? If they smoke weed, just let them do. If they get in trouble for it, it's not your fault. It was their choice. Just saying. So my experience with this guy, he was a really nice guy and he was cool. But the thing what happened afterwards was like he stopped talking to me. Like after that, he wanted to have nothing to do with me. It's like you got to accept it. Like we hold on. After that, we just completely stopped talking. I mean, like I said, I tried to make an effort, but he was a really cool guy. He was a really nice guy, but also one thing I did notice is that he always liked to run away from his problems. With this, it was a problem. He didn't want to accept it. I admit I do this too. I run away from my problems, but you shouldn't do that. No. Now he's a senior today. Um, I hope he honestly makes better decisions and like learns the fact that you gotta face your problems no matter what. I mean, yeah, there are there are things we don't want to face out there, but you've gotta face your problems. But he never apologized. He never gave me an explanation of why he stopped talking to me. I would like to know, but I probably will never know. Um, thing I wish could have been happening in the relationship, I think it could have happened, is honestly just better communication. And also at the time when I broke up with him, I was also getting peer pressured. And I was like, do it, just do it, just do it. Worst of all, when I broke up with him, that was the day of my graduation, and that was just the worst day ever. Here's the deal, dude. Don't ever break up with someone on a day that's special for you because you're gonna feel like shit. And I also, that day, I had a job interview, I had graduation, and ugh, no, just don't. If you're gonna, if you're feeling down and you have a special day, wait till the next day to do it. Alright? I mean, we were able to work stuff out, but I don't know. If I would I ever date him again? Probably not. If that were to ever happen, need to be a lot of change. But I don't know. Like I said, he's not talking to me. I'm not talking to him, which sounds sad. Which is very immature to do. Is honestly like not to talk to the person about what happened and just ignore them. That's very immature to do. But he made his choices. I don't know if he even felt bad. I mean, I had to get through it, which sucked because normally my last break, I dated a freshman. That only took me an hour. This took me like 2 days to get over, but it still bugged me from time to time. The only thing that bothered me was like I was over it. It was just how it ended, like how the fact that one day we're supposed to hang out, the next day you ask me if you're okay, and you don't talk to me ever again. That sounds like the worst thing. Like that sounds like ridiculous. But anywho, this was a learning experience for me. I hope you guys can learn too. Comment down below what you guys think. And thanks for watching, guys. Alright, see ya. Bye.